Hey guys, welcome to Newswave, your source for daily videos on gaming news, technology news, all kinds of fun stuff in the industry. Now, I've been gone a little bit now. I've missed a couple days, and that's mostly because of our first bit of news, which is that our family here at Spawnwave grew a little bit more. We actually have one new guy to add to the roster, and that is Logan. He was born Thursday night around 8:30 p.m. After quite a bit of work from my wife, we now have a newborn son, and he's kind of taken up a little bit of time. We were in the hospital for, like 4 days, so that's kind of why I haven't been around doing Newswave for the past couple days. I missed a few, and that's why any video you saw was just pre-recorded footage I did before then, just so I made sure something was on the channel every day without me being home. So that's why that all happened, but it's very exciting. He's here. Now we're back home. We're out of the hospital and everything, so I can kind of continue with business as usual here, just with a baby that'll probably keep us up most nights. So if I seem a little slow sometimes or a little tired, that might be why. Let's get into our first bit of news. It revolves around Scorpio from Microsoft. The new Xbox console, it's codenamed Scorpio, is due out sometime this year. Should be later on in the, I would say in the winter months, somewhere around holiday season. And we already know Microsoft's showing E3, but apparently they invited a news outlet to a place where they have Scorpio to check it out, and they documented it, and they're apparently going to be reporting it this week at some point. And this was first reported by Windows Central. They went on to say that Forza Motorsport 7 is going to be the big game that shows off the Scorpio's potential with 4K resolution and what I assume to be 60 frames per second, since most of those racing games over with Forza usually are 60 frames per second. Most racing games tend to be, just to keep fluidity up while you are racing around tracks. And we already saw the original Forza 5, Forza 6, for example, were already really well optimized for just the regular Xbox. I do expect 4K visuals at 60 frames per second. We don't know a date. We think it's going to be Thursday is what the word is going around the internet. Thursday there will be some sort of publication that outlines specs and availability at a certain time, so the data will come out from this mystery news organization. And these Scorpio rumors are pushed along further by our good friend Shinobi602. You may remember them as leaking Last of Us 2 and then Marvel vs. Capcom before the PlayStation Experience was aired, so they do have some sort of inside sources that are giving us some idea of what's coming up that's not announced yet. And in their tweet they said, "Scorpion things next week, yes. Hardware sounds damn impressive." I assume he meant to say Scorpio. I'm not really sure why they said Scorpion, but either way, that's fine. They just had someone that asked them, is that really coming? Is it happening? And yeah, so him and Jez Gordon on Twitter are both saying that, yes, Scorpio is going to show up sometime this week with some sort of publication. It could be IGN, could be GameSpot, could be CNN. It really doesn't matter. It's a news outlet that went there, documented the system, and is going to report on it at some time this week. I'll keep you guys up to date though in Newswave. And with that, let's jump over to the Switch. So if you've been on Amazon, you may have seen some very weird listings for the Switch, specifically ones that seem a little too cheap. And this isn't surprising. Anything that's a little too cheap like this is probably fake, and in this case, it appears to be. The listings you see here that are very cheap, some of them are down to, like for example, Bomberman, like a couple dollars, are scams apparently from new accounts that are signing up to then just take your money. What happens is you pay them, they never send it to you because the claim is so small, they get away with your small amount of money. I assume this is like a third world country or a place where the dollar exchange is much higher, and that way they actually get a good bit of money off of these new accounts, because it does take a little bit of time to sign up for Amazon, get approved, and then sell on that site. Some of the Switch consoles you see on there go for anywhere from $15 to $20 with these listings. Again, these are all fake listings. Do not buy them. You are just giving your money away. They will then run off with it, and they then have your money. So don't give in to these scammers. That's all it is. I'm sure people are buying them anyway because they don't know any better, but no, a Switch is not $15 to $20 on Amazon. Even if someone tries to tell you and show you that listing, tell them to go ahead and buy it and see what happens. And if you're like me, you see April 1st coming from a mile away. You realize that on that day, things will be not truthful pretty much all day. You will be fooled constantly by releases and stuff that you hope are real, only to look down on the article title or the tweet and see that it says April 1st. But there was something so unbelievable that happened, no one believed it, and a lot of people missed out. So what happened was, for some reason, I don't know why, the creators of Rick and Morty streamed what appeared to be the first episode of the long-awaited Season 3 just out of nowhere. So what happened was one of the creators was kind of getting bugged on Twitter about it, and all of a sudden they post a link to the Adult Swim streaming page where they will just stream stuff going on Adult Swim. And there's Rick and Morty Season 3, Episode 1 playing. So of course everyone freaks out. They tell everyone, hey, don't worry, if you missed it, if you were in a different time zone, it is going to run on loop for a couple hours now. And most people signed in, saw it, and then I'm sure there were plenty of people who said, that's April Fool's, it's just a joke, I'm not going to sign in, only to realize the next day, and everyone's talking about it, it wasn't a joke. The episode was funny. I don't want to ruin anything for you, but it looks to be a great kickoff to the Season 3. I really hope they come up with more episodes randomly, or at least tell us when it's coming out so we can get ready for it. I'm sure plenty of people still saw it, but right now there is no legal means, I'll say it again, legal means to see it. There's other ways, obviously, but there's no legal way to see it technically, so you pretty much have to wait until they either re-air it on TV or online, or release it in a box set. So right now, we at least know that the production of Rick and Morty Season 3 is probably done, and they're just setting up time slots and everything for it to air. And if you're excited for Ukulele like I am, this next bit of news is going to make you very happy like it did for me. So randomly, Playtonic decided to put a video out that was super nostalgic for most of us who remember Donkey Kong 64. If you remember turning that game on in the Nintendo 64, the snap, turn on the button and everything, and then it goes through the opening company logos, and then all of a sudden, you get thrown into like a DJ-style rap that is happening on screen with all of the Kongs that are in Donkey Kong. So what does Playtonic do? Realize that most of us are buying this game coming out Ukulele because we've played Donkey Kong 64, we've played Banjo-Kazooie, so they capitalize on nostalgia and release an awesome rap that is exactly like the Donkey Kong 64 rap, just obviously with different lyrics and different characters. And it was a lot of fun. You can just go watch it on YouTube. It's really cool. I liked it a lot. It definitely hit me in that nostalgia bone. And they also took some random shots at people like Microsoft for buying out Rare and then not doing anything with it. Of course, Microsoft probably didn't think that there was much left for that genre, and of course, it appears to be, because Ukulele is doing well already without releasing. People really want this game, despite some reviewers already kind of putting out there that the frame rate may not be the best, but I'm very excited for it. I will have a lot of fun. I'll probably get on the PS4, PC, and then I'll probably get it again on the Switch whenever it comes out, just again, for that portability factor. You know what? Occasionally some news comes through that is so dumb and so unbelievable that you really hope that it's not correct, right? You hope it's April Fool's. It has happened on April Fool's Day from what I could tell. A lot of news outlets published it. Maybe it happened like the 31st or something, but it revolved around the 1st, so a lot of us, I think, wrote it off as being fake. It appears to not be a joke. So what's happening is PETA, or the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, the organization is apparently attacking Nintendo for 1-2 Switch. And you could probably already assume what I'm going to say, and that is that for some reason, PETA has taken aim at Nintendo for their game where you milk a cow in 1-2 Switch, claiming that they are making it fun to milk a cow for what they claim to be a very cruel and very punishing situation with cows being milked, and it's an odd thing to do. Apparently they say if you're going to do this, make it realistic and show some of the environments that some of these cows live in for this. Now, of course, PETA likes to over-sensationalize things. I've been to farms where cows are treated very well. I'm sure there are farms out there where they're not treated well. But I don't also want to say that every one of them is treated badly, like PETA likes to assume that that's the case. But I don't think they are doing this for the sake of animals. I think they're doing this to get more exposure. Go after Nintendo, who has a large audience, who will look at this and kind of cock their head sideways and say, really? Is PETA coming after Nintendo for making a game based around milking a cow, and they want them to make it more realistic? So you want this game to be much more about the cow itself than the act of milking them using HD Rumble and a Joy-Con. So I'm not sure how we would make it more realistic, unless you just want it more violent, or you want there to be a full half-hour build-up to milking the cow. But no, it's just a mini-game. I wouldn't think too much about it. If you really want to be exposed to that kind of stuff, do research, go to a farm, and see that not all of them, the cows are treated badly. Like I said, some of them are, but that's also like saying every dog in America is treated exactly how you see them on those commercials. Some are, a lot aren't. Either way, it just seems really dumb on PETA's part to even do this. It's a waste of time. I have a feeling Nintendo's just going to ignore them and it'll just go away because it's not It's not even worth the headline that it was printed on here with Polygon or Kotaku, and everybody reported it. And guys, today the gaming world waved the white flag and put their gaming flags at half-staff because we did lose a long-standing company in the gaming world, and that is Madcatz. Now, we've talked about Madcatz woes in depth recently, where they were getting pulled off the New York Stock Exchange for low stock trading prices, and the company itself was just not being valued highly. They went all in with this Rock Band fiasco, and it did not work out in the least. In fact, I was at Walmart and they were completely slashing prices of all Rock Band stuff because it just wasn't selling. There were pallets of it from what I could tell because it was just full of stuff on the shelves, and I could clearly see them restocking every time I went back if any had sold. So now Madcatz has filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and they are now starting to sell off all of their assets to try to pay back any lenders that they owe. They've been around for so long, like I said, it's a shame to see this happen. You hate to see any big company that employs several people, a lot of people, go under, because that means a lot of people lost their job. That means we lost a company in the gaming industry. Now, they kind of did it themselves by trying to ride the entire Rock Band music industry as much as they could when it was clear that that had run its time. They should have looked around, maybe investing into controllers that are of better quality. It's gotten to the point now where we know that gamers will pay more money for better quality. I mean, the Xbox One Elite controller exists and people buy it for hundreds of dollars. So yes, Madcatz, it's a shame what happened to you, but if you had just maybe evolved with the time rather than trying to make those cheap PS2 controllers become cheap Xbox One and cheap PS4 or cheap PS3 controllers, maybe you put a little more into it and try to make some really nice ones. Again, it's hard to say. I'm not their CEO or chairman. I was not making the decisions, but I think they just never evolved with the times. They tried their hardest to push Rock Band as far as they could, and it just did not work out for them. In fact, it ended up burying them. And a patch released for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild over the weekend, and it was very exciting for a lot of people because a lot of people, including myself, believe that they can iron out some of these frame rate issues just through software patches, and it looks like they've tried to take their first stab at that issue with version 1.1.1, where they have ironed out some of the frame rates issues. That's not to say it's completely fixed. In fact, there's still plenty of places where the frame rate does dip down, specifically in forest areas or places where there's a lot of foliage around you. And that's, again, something they will just have to work out in patches. There have been a lot of people, GameXplain, for example, and others, who have done the benchmarks, done the tests running around the same areas, and found that, yes, it has gotten better. So this is something they can fix over time. That's the big picture you look at. We'll have to keep an eye to see what happens with this. I do think they will continue to release performance patches, and eventually we look back on Breath of the Wild as an awesome game with no frame rate issues. So I think that's the goal for anyone who enjoys video games. Zelda's a great game. Those frame rate issues, it seemed to be the only real issue with the game, other than a few maybe gameplay mechanics that turn some people off, but the vast majority of us like the game. I think we can all admit, though, yes, there are frame rate issues in certain places. And the last bit of news actually comes from Destiny 2 again. So we saw the reveal trailer, at least the quick teaser for the eventual gameplay that will come out in some form of trailer, but we now know, thank you GameStop for leaking this, by the way, that Destiny 2 is coming to PC. There are digital deluxe versions, all kinds of stuff. After they leaked it, it pretty much came out from developers that yes, it's happening, it's on their website. There's a digital deluxe version, there's a full deluxe version, the regular version for Destiny 2 on the PC, which is exciting. I wanted the first one on PC at some point, just bring it over. No avail, but now we are getting it, and that's exciting. It should be coming out for Xbox One, PS4, and PC at this point. No other consoles, which really the Switch is the only other console I could think of them bringing it to, has been announced. More than likely, it will stay on the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC. Although, of course, if the Switch keeps selling the way it does, I think every company, including Activision Bungie, will look at the Switch and maybe try to figure something out there. It's hard to say. You don't want to leave all these people out in the cold, I should say, if the sales could be there and would, make you more money, so why not? But at least we know it's going to the PC. I'm very excited. I will get it on the PC, maybe the PS4 as well, depending on how things look. Definitely the PC, though. I think that's where Destiny should have been from the start, especially that maybe that modding community could have fixed some of those story-driven missions, not for cheating or anything, but maybe added a little more to the story. But it looks like they're at least going to try to fix that in the second Destiny coming up. And that's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Definitely let me know about anything we talked about today, whether it's Scorpio showing up sometime this week. I'm excited to see what is going on with it. I need to know what processor, what GPU is in there, because all we're all doing right now is arguing Ryzen, Vega, Jaguar, Polaris. It's combinations of all these things. I just want to know what I'm going to be buying, because yes, I will buy a Scorpio when it comes out, probably take it apart and then to check out any comparisons. So I hope they tell us that. Did you catch Rick and Morty Season 3, Episode 1? I did. I was excited. I'm ready for Episode 2. Let me know what you guys think down below about the ukulele rap. Or maybe you want to let me know about Madcatz and how you bought a PS2 controller from them way back in the day. You're sad to see them go. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.